Hello guys, again, I said I'll talk about how we deal with distribution coming out from Andy here, how we can create some predictable play that we know what we're doing, that we can do regularly and works for us to get us in forward positions. So what we're looking at here is using the back line, working with the goalkeeper, working with the midfield to send the ball out to the sides here to Jason or James to get us into forward positions. And the best way that we can achieve this is by retaining the ball, working hard off the ball to create nice simple triangular passes, go home if we need to, come back out here, because there will only be a couple of forward players. So we need to work these two players and we need to make sure that they're tired. We don't want them to be full of beans. We want them to work. When they're tired, we'll have an easier time, both defending when they come at us, and we'll have an easier time with an outlet. So to do this, it's really important that we get from a goal kick position, when you get the guys right up the pitch here, midfield, forwards, compress this area. Compress this area of the field. Their defence will want to hold this line. Andy will have a good kick on him, and occasionally he'll drop the ball over the top of that line. They won't want to hold it so high up anymore, because we'll all be steaming forward, trying to get on the end of it. So Andy will know that and he'll want to drop the ball over the top, and what that will do is push them forward from a goal kick position. By our midfield and our forwards being high, what it does is gives us a nice back four to work these two. How do we work them? Well, we get the ball out here, we get the ball out here, and we make them run, we make them move. We can work quick little short passes, ones, twos here. This man is going to trot off over to here and try and get the ball off Jason. And we can get Tony here to drop in, or he can drop into there, receive the ball into here. On occasion, Tom might come in with some zigzaggy run and come and receive the ball. So we're going to create triangles of play that means that this guy has got to work. We didn't work the forwards enough last week. So this week our main aim is to try and distribute better from the back, work in the forward players in triangular motion, go home if you need to, use Andy. Quick passing, make sure it's accurate, good strong passing. Now it'll break down sometimes, we won't get it right, but we need to get it right with time and confidence, and we're only going to do that by just practicing it. Fleet are going to be good, very good. I don't expect to beat them. What I would like to do is give them a bloody good game, make it hard for them, give a good account of ourselves. They will be better than us in most areas of the pitch, they'll be sharper, they'll be stronger, fitter probably. But it doesn't mean that we can't control the ball from the back, because 4 people, easily outnumber 2, we know from our rondo sessions, it's bloody hard work to get the ball in a box which is that big. So we've got a much bigger box. These guys are going to get forward, compress up here. The defenders have got all of this space, and Andy, we've got a box that big. And there's no reason why we can't work these 2 forwards. Make them run. It's going to be hot. It's going to be very hot. Now, this won't work and will get broken down easily if the midfield isn't high enough. Won't have the space. These guys will have markers on them. There'll be 4 at the back here. So we need all that space to work with, and it can only be done by really packing it tight in here and pushing them forward. What happens then is that if Tom needs to drop in and receive a ball, it needs to be a crazy run. Tom can't just run in straight lines. He'd expect to get the ball real simple, because he'll have someone right up behind him who wants to break down the play, and then perhaps we've got another guy steaming in this way, and perhaps we then get overloaded, and we haven't got that advantage of numbers anymore. So Tom's run, or Nathan's run, Ollie's run, over here Ray's run, those runs to come and get the ball, they can't be predictable. And if you do the same thing over and over again, your marker will read it and know what's going on. So with your runs, when your man needs an outlet, read what's happening. You've seen the ball on its way. Tony needs to react and offer a pass. Tom, Ollie need to react and offer a pass. Andy needs to come out and be available to have it back. Okay? But all this reaction needs to happen as you're seeing the pass move. There is no point waiting for poor old Jason over here to receive the ball, and then you slowly trot along in a slow motion in here with someone right behind you. This guy that was marking here and here is now shot over to here. You've got an outlet there, but there's someone right up behind him. All too predictable. It'll get broken down real fast. The only option Jason's really got there, try and ping one over the top to the forwards, or maybe send it back to Andy. So if we find ourselves in that position, there'll be a simple reason why. It's because your runs aren't good enough. The runs that we're making are two one-dimensional straight lines. Tom needs to start his run coming this way and bring it back in. His marker does not want to be running backwards to then come back this way. And he'll find it too difficult and he'll get bored of it. And what he'll do eventually, by making crazy runs, yes, it's hard work to make runs, of course it is, but it's much easier than spending the game chasing the ball around the field. So his marker eventually will get tired of this crazy movement, not knowing where Tom's going to go, right? And what he'll do is he'll stand off. He won't be right up against Tommy here anymore. He'll stand off. He'll give Tom space because he can't be arsed running around. So midfield, Ollie, Tom, Nathan, Ray, you guys need to be making shaped runs. Not simple runs that everybody can read and it's all predictable, we can see what's happening. As the ball comes into someone, the three players around him here now is Bandana Tom, Nathan and Ray. And you all need to be finding a space or making a space. If there is no big hole to run into, no big space available, you're going to have to shape a run to find it. When you make this shape, a shaped run, it makes a bloody great big hole here. So the offering to James down this side is so much better because we'll have a ball. There'll be somebody tailing Ray here running around trying to catch him up. But the offering will be straight down the line for Nathan to pick up over this side. So the shaped runs is what makes it an absolute nightmare to defend. And I'd rather us spend time and energy with our shaped runs, making positions, than chasing the game, chasing the ball around for perhaps 70 minutes. So off the ball movement is what I'm looking for. We cannot play in nice triangles, pinging it around back here, if the off the ball movement and offering is not good enough. Professional players will have the ball at their feet for approximately 3 minutes per game. If they're a controlling type player that controls the ball and spreads it around a lot, they might have the ball at their feet for 4 minutes a game. So out of 90 minutes, it's not a great deal of time. But their offering to the team and their worth to the team, other than putting simple passes in, is quite often how much work they do, making odd-shaped runs, finding spaces, finding gaps, moving into those spaces in an indirect way, so that when they get there, they have a little bit of time on the ball to think about what they're going to do next. it's unlikely that any of us will have the ball at our feet for that period of time. But we can work on it, and we can make sure that we've got a regular outlet at the back here. So just to recap, we get that regular outlet by pushing the whole team forward. Don't compress this area here. Occasionally, Tom and Nathan will need to run in there and pick up the ball. If you have a tendency just to drift into that space, it will break down our forward movement. Do not drift into there. Run into there with gusto. Simple passes, feed it back. The team begins to move up the field progressively. And eventually, with confidence and this back line working in that way, we'll end up in much more forward positions. Okay? Because we would have worked into those positions. We'll end up here. I think on Sunday we ended up in that kind of position. Last Sunday, I think 3 times, 4 times maybe. I only really remember 2. But my memory is not great. So, this is where we want to be. We want to be getting into here and getting in their faces, right? Now, we could do that more regularly by working from defence into triangles, getting forward, reliability from the keeper at the back with Andy there. So we said, sometimes, all we'll need to do from a goal kick, we won't be able to do that every time. Because their midfield might get lazy and compress us in here, meaning that we've got more of a 3-on-4 or a 4-on-4. So then Andy needs to read that. And occasionally we need to put some pressure on their defence. Andy needs to ping some over the top and see if we can't get a few players forward, go chasing. Tom likes to get up there. Nathan will hold a little bit. So Andy will be able to find those passes and read the game for us. And 50% of the time we'll be asking the forwards to chase a long ball, get the midfield involved. The rest of the time we'll be looking for an outlet here to play football, play triangular football, work it around. We've worked with a bit of rondo, we've worked with two-touch football. We know we can do it, and we've put some nice strings of passes together. And that's how we're going to take on teams. We're not the fittest, most rapid team out there. We can't work in ridiculous straight lines and long balls and chase them. And that's not us. What we need to be doing is working a bit tighter, work their players across the back here, make sure they're tired, don't give them an easy day. And by that way we'll get forward. So hopefully that's clear. I'd like to see that kind of planning out a bit on Sunday, and we'll see how we get on with it. But that's the kind of system that we want to go with. So see you all tomorrow, and let's go get it. Cheers.